right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining me for today's presentation, Cracking the Code, the Secret to Building High-Performing Teams. How many of you in here have a team of 2 or more? Okay, very good. And so we specialize in helping teams going from norming to high-performing. So today, stay with me for just a few moments. Growing up, I was sandwiched in between 2 brothers. My oldest brother, Tim, was a comic book fanatic. I mean, I tell you, he couldn't wait to get the latest comic book so that he could read it, trade it, sell it with his friends all in the neighborhood. But I tell you what, nothing compared to when we had the special editions come out, when DC and the Marvels had to join together to fight some type of intergalactic force. They had to join forces to come together and build the team. Now, I'm telling you, that in itself was a feat. Bringing the Avengers and the Marvels, so regardless of whatever was going on, whenever they had this outcast enemy, they came together using their own super forces, and they were able to win the day. And that's what we talk about, is building high performers, everybody having their own unique skill sets, their own strengths, but coming together for a common purpose. And so as we talk about, here you go, the Marvels. I'm sorry, my administrator's telling me you're not using the clicker. Use the clicker. So those 2 coming together, coming up with the win. And so if you think about it, I'm no Nick Fury. How many of you know the Marvels and Captain, and you know who Nick Fury is? I'm no Nick Fury, but what I do know is how to build high-performing teams. And so who am I? I'm Dr. Derree Braswell, founder and CEO of Global Impact Leadership Solutions, where we help teams move from, can somebody get this for me? Joe? Where we help teams move from, sorry about that, guys. Got my alarms going off. Yes, so we help teams move from norming to high-performing teams. And so we've had the opportunity to work across several industries, whether it's education, retail, accounting, finance, entrepreneurs, corporate, we do it all. We help teams move into that, what we call high-performing stage. We do that through coaching, workshops, team building activities, whether it's building trust or goal setting, service or sales training, communication or leadership styles, change management or organizational effectiveness. We use not just standard training, but we use out-of-the-box training. So we come in and we work with your team to come up with a specialty event that can help your team get to their highest potential. How many of you know that today we're going to be talking, I'm getting a little tongue-tied here. Let me pause and reset. So today I'd like to provide you a preview from one of our workshops, Cracking the Code, the secret to high-performing teams. Over the next few minutes, we're going to step into a workshop. I'm going to take you into one with me and see if we have what it takes to break the code on your team's performance. By now, most of you would agree that our people are our biggest asset. So what do we need to do to ensure that those teams morph into a high-performing team? I can tell you, it's not just pizza parties or casual Fridays that will get the job done. There's actually an art and science behind building high-performing teams. One of the foundations that we talk about in making sure that teams move to that high-performing stage is trust. Trust is a non-negotiable when you look at teams that are high-performing. It's trust and psychological safety. And when we talk about psychological safety, it's where members feel like that they can come into a team, they can show up as their self, they can bring in their insights and know that their insights will be heard and valued by all. And so trust, psychological safety, is one of the foundational pillars that we talk about in building high-performing teams. It's present when we seek colleagues trust and respect each other, and they are able to not only be candid, but it's also demanded of them to be candid with each other. That's one of the building blocks that we see in high-performing teams. The other one is alignment. So in order to have a high-performing team, we must have alignment. And so I don't know about you all, but my favorite team is the Kansas City Chiefs. And I know everybody is not a Kansas City Chief fan in here, but whoever your team is, whoever you're rooting for, when those teams suit up and get on the field or get on the court, they have one goal in mind, and that goal is to what? Is to win, right? And so everybody is able to get behind whatever it takes, no matter what position they play. They understand that the goal of the day is to make the win. And for us, alignment is so important because teams need to know, what does the win look like? And you would be amazed at how many teams that we go in, how many clients we work with, when we sit down and I talk to this department and they say the goal is this, and then I go talk to this department and they say the goal is this. Everybody knows what their individual goals are, but when we're talking about high performing teams, we're saying, what's the goal of the organization and how does my individual part play in making that organization great? That's what we're talking about when we're talking about alignment. The next thing is clarity. Teams need to have clarity about what the goal is, what are we trying to achieve. Like we said, what's the win? What does the win look like? How do we know? I often say, if we don't know where we're going, how will we know when we get there? And so teams need clarity. They need leaders that are able to give what is the clear direction of the team. They need to be able to say that this is what the goal is, this is where we're going. And so through that, the clarity comes in so important. And it's the mutual accountability. What we find in high performing teams is a mutual accountability where everybody holds each other responsible for getting to the goal. Now, mutual accountability is easy when the first two are in place. If trust is in place and alignment is in place, mutual accountability is really easy for teams to go through. And so we're going to step into an activity just like we would if we were in a workshop, and we're going to say, what's missing? So on your card today, I want you to think of a time when your team wasn't performing at its best. Maybe they were frustrated. Maybe they were confused. Or maybe it was just flat. We were not winning the way we know we should be winning. I want you, if you have on your paper, just jot that down or think about it. What was missing? Was it the trust that people didn't feel like they could bring their best self or bring their advice to the team and be heard? Was it alignment? People didn't know what the goal was. They didn't know what to win. Or was it clarity? The leader was not able to make whatever the goal was clear. Take a moment and think about a time. What was missing? Write it down. If you need a pen, I have one. Write it down on your paper. We're going to just walk right into one of our workshops. Take about 30 seconds. What was missing? Uh-oh. All right, anybody want to volunteer? Does anybody have a scenario that you felt about a time when the team was not winning? It was not at its best. And one of those things might have been missing. Anybody want to volunteer? Was it trust? Was it alignment? Or was it clarity? Got somebody? Thank you. Got somebody over here. What was missing? Abigail?
So I remember a time where one of my employees, they felt like they weren't being heard. I think I was trying to micromanage, and I don't think I was extremely clear on what they need to do in order to achieve a particular goal.
Yeah.
And I didn't let them know exactly what the end goal was. So it had a, they didn't understand what I understand. So
yes.
we had that misunderstanding.
Yes. Yes, and we see this with our leaders all the time. Ooh. Our leaders have a vision, they have a goal, they know what they're going. If you're the CEO, CHRO of your team, you know where you're trying to go. The question is, does your team know? Has the vision that you have in your mind been translated to them? And lots of times that's what we see. It's the clarity that's missing. Somebody else have another one was where maybe trust was missing or alignment. We do. Okay, I'm going to pass this so I don't get in front of that speaker again, because that was, whew,
So
took my ear out.
basically, our manager didn't support us as a team,
Ah.
and then that led to some people quitting and not feeling supported
Yeah.
to our mission. And he wasn't clear on our individual goals,
Okay.
which then creates confusion on what are we working towards all together.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So you had a manager that didn't support the team. Yeah. So in those instances, we find that they lose trust. And when a team loses trust in a manager, what happens? Anybody? What happens when a team loses trust in their manager? The manager is not fighting for them. They're not advocating for them. They're not being clear for them. What can happen? You said what happened. The teams leave, and we all know the saying that people don't leave organizations. They leave who? They leave managers. It's the one. So in order to have a high performing team, we need managers that are able to, doesn't mean that we're going to give everything that the team wants, but the team needs to know that they can trust that this manager has their best interests at heart, that they're going to advocate for them when they need to, they're going to be clear on the goals, and that they're able to know that regardless of what's going on, we may not like the direction that's going on, but the manager has put their whatever ideas forefront with the organization. So that's what we're talking about. Anybody have one where maybe alignment was not present? Anybody ever work on a team where the team was not aligned? Nobody? Okay, well that's a whole other category, is being on a team where everybody's going in different directions. And so those are the three things. Those are just three principles out of our Cracking the Code, the Secret to High Performing Teams workshop. I'd love to be able to do the whole workshop with you today, but I'm only being able to do a preview in these 30 minutes. So let's move on to talk about then who's on the team. Once you get those principles laid, trust, alignment, and clarity, then it's important to know who's on the team. Who's on the team? And so what we talk about through an assessment that we use is the Berkman workshop is you have your reds, and the reds represent the climate you see here of action, energy, and practicality. It's the land of doing. These are individuals who are all about getting things done. They're checking the box. What needs to get done? Let's do it. They tend to live in the present, and they are direct, straightforward, and matter of fact. Those are the reds. Do we have any reds in the audience today? Anybody who think your personality or somebody might say that you're a red? So that's what the red is, the land of doing. Then we have our greens. Our greens live in the land of what we call communicating. And they are all about socializing. They like doing things with people. You'll hear them say things like, come on, let's get together and talk about this. Let's work together on this. They tend to look at the present, and they like looking through the lens of a people lens only, where our reds look at things from a task or issue. They're not really concerned, not that they don't like people, but they're not concerned with people at the time. They're concerned with whatever the task or the issue is. Then we have the yellows. The yellows, we say, live in the land of analyzing. These individuals like going through, they have their checklists, and they have a checklist for their checklists. They like scheduling and planning and making sure things are done and checking the box and making sure that all things are working the way they're supposed to be. That is what we call the land of analyzing. Do we have any analyzers in the room? I see one back there. Don't be, yes, yes. So those are our yellows. And then finally we have the blues. The blues, we say, are the land of the thinking. So these individuals are all about ideas. They come up with, they have an idea for an idea. I tell you, they are the ones that are constantly tweaking things. You'll hear them say things like, did anybody think about this? Did anybody think about that? They are working up until the last minute tweaking things. And guess what? Those blues will drive the yellows crazy on your team, because the yellows like, can you just get one plan together? But the blues will say, but wait a minute, we can do one more thing and we can do this. And guess what that red is saying? That red is saying, look, no matter what we said we're going to do, let's just get it done. The greens are saying, come on, everybody, we can get it together. Let's work together. We're going to have some fun getting this together. So that's what we have to understand when we're talking about high-performing teams. It's not only having those foundations in place, trust, clarity, and alignment. It's also understanding the people that are on our teams and what color that they represent. We also understand that the colors have opposites. That red that lives in the land of doing, boy, the blues can really get on their last one, because the reds are like, come on, let's get it done. The blues are like, but wait a minute. Well, what do you think about this? And what do you think about this? And the blues will look at the reds as like, oh my gosh, they're just shooting from the hip. They're not even thinking about this. They're just going. On the other side, the yellows and the greens are opposites, because the yellow wants a process. They want a plan. And the green is like, come on, we'll just work through it. We'll work it out. We'll all get it done. And the yellow is looking to the past and saying, oh no, how has this been done before? How are we going to be able to get this done? And so thinking about the principles and the peoples, I'm telling you, building a high-performing team takes WORK. It takes work. But guess what? We've got solutions that can help you build those teams from that norming stage to high performing. In our Berkman workshops, we will help you find out who's on the team, who lives in which land, and be able to help them be able to interact with one another. Because once they understand, it's not personal. Because sometimes when you have teams and when people are in their regular behavior, they think the other person is doing something personally to them, and it has nothing to do with them. It's just the way that individual is wired. And so we help teams understand it's really not about you, it's about them and the way that they are wired. And so we have a quick little activity. I want you to look at your sheet. Think about, where do you think you live? Let me see. Do we have any reds in here? Do we have any people? I see one in the back. Got a couple of them live in the land of the doing. What about greens? Do we have any land of communicating? Okay, we got 1, 2. All right. What about, we saw the yellows, but let me see your hand again, yellows, just so okay, those analyzers are here. And then finally the blues. Where's those thinkers, those ideas? All right, we see you. All right. So just understanding all those colors and how do we work together to be that best team. So what I'd like for you to do, take a moment and just get it here. Take an individual reflection and think about, what color do you think you are? But more importantly, how do people see you? Because how many of you know that even though these colors that we talked about, that's a person's positive behavior. When we talk about the land of doing, the land of communicating, the land of analyzing, or the land of thinking, that's a person's positive behavior. But how many know every positive behavior taken to the extreme becomes a what? It can become a challenge. And just because it's positive for you, because you've learned to live in that land, it doesn't mean that everybody appreciates your positive. Because I tell you, when we think about those opposites, it can shut people down with your positive, and you're like, this is just who I am. But I want you to think about, look at your sheets. And if you have a second, if you don't mind talking to the person next to you, I know you may not know them, but just look at those questions. What's one thing on there that you can share with your neighbor? Just one thing. Take a look at it. What color, what land do you think you live in? And what is one of the colors? And step one, what does your usual behavior look like? Is it in the red, the green, the yellow, or the blue? And how might others see you? How might they see you? You know what you see, but how might other people see you? And then finally, when you see someone opposite your behavior, what do you tend to do? So if you're red and you see those blues, what do you tend to say about those blues? Or if you are yellow and you see those greens, what do you tend to say about those? Take a couple minutes. We're only going to give you two. Take a little minute to socialize with the person next to you, 2 minutes, and talk about one of those statements, either what your usual behavior, that positive behavior looks like, or what others might see, or when you see somebody with the opposite behavior, what do you tend to do? Just take a minute. All right, all right. I know you all are having some great conversations back there. But again, for sake of time, I'd like to hear what someone volunteer and say, what's one insight you just had about your behavior or and how it might land on others? Somebody, you want to share? Okay, can I pass that mic?
Hi. Yes, me and my new colleague, we say that depends of the moment. We feel more red, we feel more yellow, more green. We didn't find us in just one lane.
Yeah.
So this is possible.
Yes.
How we can deal with it.
Yes, 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 yes. So great question. So her question was, we can't find ourselves in just one of these boxes. We see us kind of teetering all the boxes. And it is possible. So in the assessment that we use, you can have up to 3 colors. And you know, as humans, we're complex. It would be so great to say, okay, you're a red, so we know exactly where you are. You're a green, so we know exactly where you are. You're yellow. But what we're looking is what's your dominant? What's your dominant behavior when left to yourself, when nobody's looking? This is where you're going. That's the one that we're talking about when we're talking about your positive behavior. Now, some people's symbols will talk about actually fall between 2 colors, or some people's colors are what we call in center grid, where they are able to flex in all 4 of the colors. Now, for the good thing about those individuals is they can appreciate people in all colors. If you're in the middle of the box, you can appreciate all colors because you show up in all of those colors. But if you're on the outer edge of the color, it may be hard for you to appreciate people on the opposite side because you tend, that positive behavior is how you've learned to do things. This is how things should be done. And so the problem when we get with teams is because I've learned to do it this way, and not just learn to do it, but I'm getting good results doing it this way. When I see somebody else doing it in a different way, it kind of makes me step back like, so no, that's not the way we're supposed to do things. We're not supposed to do it that way. But what we teach in our courses is how do you flex, regardless of which color you land in, how do you flex your color muscles so you can appreciate everybody in every one of the colors. Anybody else want to share? So one is, yes, we've got all 4 colors. It's important to know that. That's the good thing. The challenge is for people who are in all 4 of those colors that it may be hard for people to read you because one day you may show up as a red. The next day you show up as a green, or the next situation. So it may be a bit of a challenge for people to understand you. I have a question. I'm going to see if I can get back here without making that screeching noise. Oh, because that's horrible on the ears. Guys, there's some seats if you all want to come on in.
For me, basically, is I can blend into the 4 colors.
Okay.
But usually it depends on the situation. on the scenario or on the topic.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like because I'm in the business, we have team also.
Yes.
When we have to arrange the meeting, we actually tend to be very yellow.
Ah.
Checklist, checklist, checklist.
Yes.
And when we actually have to motivate our team, we're going to be very red.
Yeah.
And so we're actually looking at the situation. For me, I'm 4 colors.
Okay.
100%.
All right.
Liquid.
Yeah, she said liquid. I love it. I love it. Liquid color. She's learned how to operate. Oh, good, good. No screeching sound. She's learned how to operate in all four. And what we're saying is no matter what land you live in, it doesn't mean that you cannot operate in that other color. When we're talking about building high performing teams, we want to understand what the first three things. What are the principles that we need to lay? And we said earlier, we need to have trust. We need to have alignment, and we need to have clarity. The other thing that we need to make sure is that we know who's on the team. Because if I'm a leader and I'm a red leader and I have somebody who's blue on my team, I have to know how to talk to that person. I have to know how to get the best out of that individual. And my get it done quick, quick, quick is not going to do very good for that person who lives in the land of thinking, because they need to think about things. They need to just take their time, and the Reds want to go. They're like, okay, Blues is like, come on, let's go in here and brainstorm. And the Reds are like, we don't have time for brainstorm. We've got to go. And so you've got 2 minutes, but there are keys. There are ways that we can help for each one of those individuals to be able to navigate the different members on their team. They're giving me my time. And so the last thing is, do you know how to handle your team stresses? So let's look at this picture. The first picture would be those individuals who are living in the land of whatever we said. That's their positive behavior. That's them over here. Everything is running smooth. The team is going great. Over here, we're looking at a team that they did not get their needs met. What did they need in order to stay looking like this? There is something missing. And if you want to learn more about what you need or what your teams need, you can contact us and we can go do one of our personality assessments so we can understand what does the individual need so that they can stay out of the land of stressing. Because stressing can be avoided if we understand what it is that a person needs in order to be at their best. And so come see us at booth B645. We have all types of workshops that we offer in Global Impact Leadership Solutions. You can see here, they're not cookie cutter solutions. We have different workshops. We have transformational team experiences where we take teams to the beach and we build sandcastles. We do cake wars. We have culinary experiences, and all of these experiences that we do, scavenger hunts, obstacle courses, we add a little bit of stress so that we can help the team see, what do I look like in my stress behaviors? And you can best believe when you can say, well, we're just playing games, but I have seen teams lose it over playing some games, because guess what? Those Reds, they want to win all the time. And so we ask that you come visit us at booth B645 to get some more information. You can scan our code right here, and we have some trade show pricing only for today. And I thank you for joining us today. My name is Dr. Derree Braswell, and we just went through a snippet of cracking the code, building high performing teams. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.